Man, last week's intro music was unreal. What do you think, Chase?
Yeah, I'm pumped. That was awesome. I felt like it made a world of difference, even though it was a small thing. I loved it.
Yeah, I'm really happy we did that. Shout out James again.
Heck yeah. What's good, man? You were just got back from LA. You were in LA this weekend, right?
Yeah, it was dude, I don't want to travel anymore. Remember last week we talked about how like I don't want to have to go anywhere anymore?
Yeah, then you went somewhere.
Well, yeah, well that was the last thing. So from now until my birthday, which is May 7th, so it's 49 days. We're calling it Sprint 25, Sprint 25 because I'm going to be 25. Which is crazy.
And until then, for the next 49 days, you're just chilling. You're just going to be at your crib in Miami.
Chilling, working out, eating right, getting some sun, just doing everything I can to just be as just I want to glow at 25, bro. I want to be as tan as you, Chase.
It's the lighting. It's the lighting for sure. That's amazing though. Happy
Definitely not.
early birthday, and hopefully you'll do something sick for
Oh,
the 25th. That's a fun one. I feel like
thanks, man.
25 is a cool one, 30 is a cool one, and
Oh
then from
yeah.
there it seems scary. I don't know.
Well, it's way too early to wish early birthdays just yet, but I appreciate it. Dude, you know what's funny? So I was going through like the email that you always send the link to for the Riverside thing right before we go. Um, I was like going through because I had like 1,800 unread emails, and so I was just going through like getting rid of all of them. And as I was like going through, I was looking at like emails that I hadn't opened that I was receiving like early last year
Okay.
between like January and May of 2023. And I was just thinking about how like depressing my life was.
Really? So last January was kind of when you were making some big moves. You're kind of a couple months ahead of taking on Copy MBA full time. Yeah, you
Mhm.
kind of were in a scramble. You were in a good spot, and then you were scrambling, and then you ended up in a better spot. So yeah, I kind of remember that as well.
I was looking at like, I, I, I don't know what it was, but I got like a $200 Stripe payout, which sucked. Um, and yeah, dude, I was just looking at like old intros to like other like brands that I was gonna do with my agency and stuff like that, and it was just like, oh, that sucked, bro. Like the last 4 months of running that agency was a nightmare. It was like so bad, so bad. I'm
Because I
so
sent
glad
it
it's
to your
gone.
car. I don't even know what I thought I sent it to your Copy MBA. I was sending it to your Cardinal agency email. That's why. Ah, that makes sense.
Wait, what do you mean?
Like the email that you were on was your agency email, so that makes sense why you're in your agent. I just type in your name and I just click whatever one pops up first. I always assumed it was your Copy MBA email, but
Oh
you were
no,
in your
it's
Cardinal
whatever.
one. Back when you were in an agency.
Yeah. So, and that's still kind of like my main email, but dude, like, I'm so happy I graduated from that shit. Anyway, so that actually brings us to the first topic, which is blind ranking business models. So I have five. I'm gonna give you five business models, and I want you to just rank them from five being the worst and
Okay,
one being the best. But you can't change it, and you don't know what the next one's gonna be.
got it. So as soon as I hear it, I have to say 1 through 5. One's the best, five's the worst. Okay, all right.
Yeah, and you can talk about why that is, and you can talk about your experience with it. Like make it your own thing and make it
Dang.
interesting. But
All right, I'm a
yeah,
little nervous. Let's do it.
okay. So and these aren't necessarily things you've done.
Okay.
It's just things that are just generally like the most popular business model. Okay, the first one that you got to rank is dropshipping. Specifically, dropshipping, like the way that we know dropshipping. This is not anything else. Just like Chinese dropshipping.
Without knowing what's coming, I'm gonna give it a 4. I don't think it's gonna be the worst, and I don't think it's the best. I'm giving it a 4 because I think drop shipping is a really great way for young people or folks without money that want to get into e-commerce, want to try a business model, just to try to quickly fail or succeed as quick as possible. So I think it's a great way to have very little to no inventory, hopefully not spending too much money. And I think it's just a great way to almost get your MBA or kind of your schooling within e-commerce. So I'll say it's 4. I don't think it's the best one. It's not something I would go build today, but I don't think it's terrible. It's not for me, but I could see it being for someone. Well, do you have any thoughts, or is it? I mean,
No, these are all
okay,
because I know what the list is, so I
okay,
can't answer. But I think dropshipping can be good. I know very few people who have made real money with that model. I know like a lot of the people who are making money doing dropshipping are doing some sketchier version of that, which we talked about before. But yeah, I think it's good to just kind of mess around. Like I think like if you're just I know a lot of people that like kind of got started and like maybe their best profit month was like 20 or 30K. So they didn't like make it rain or
Yeah.
anything, but you know, it's a good place to sort of like get your feet wet and learn how ads work and learn how to do email and learn how to like, you know, put a website together. I think it's a good little starter business just to mess around with if you're
Yeah,
not investing too
exactly. I don't think you'll make a lot of money each month. I don't think it's a sellable business, or if it is, I don't think it's a great asset to own. But to your point, like I think for folks that want to start service-based businesses or even SaaS companies, being able to have like a case study and hands-on experience before you go approach clients, I think is huge, right? Being able to say, I did X, Y, and Z for this thing, I think is huge. So that's why I kind of rated it a 4.
Nice. Okay. All right. So next one is agency. Would you rate that?
Specifically a digital marketing agency.
Yeah, like your kind of agency.
I'd say it's a 2. I was gonna give it a 1, but again, I don't know what's coming, so I'm gonna say it's a 2. Reason being, similar to dropshipping, you can start for almost no cost. It's almost a free business model in a sense where it doesn't take a lot of upfront capital. Maybe you need a website, maybe you don't. I think it's just such a great way to start building cash flow. I don't think right starting out, if this is your first business, your agency is going to be this massive overnight success, but dude, I'm on my third, fourth, fifth agency now. So I've been doing it for a long time. I think the grass seems always greener. I think it's a great business, though. I like the business because I'm not operating it day to day. If I was still operating it day to day, I might have a different ranking for it. But I think it's a great one to offer services to people around things that you care about without the risk of building out a brand, holding inventory, and those types of things. So I would rate it a 2.
Okay. I think that's solid. And I think your experience with an agency has been a little bit different from mine. I we all know that it gets harder the bigger you get.
Yeah.
It does not get easier. Like some businesses, you know, the bigger it is, the better it actually gets. Where it's like you have more money in, you get more feedback, more customers. You know, like you have more to invest in, like fulfillment and stuff. So like sometimes it's better to be big, like a SaaS, for example.
Yeah.
But agency sometimes is not one of those things where it's like if it's a service like you back in 2018 just running email for somebody, like you were probably better
Yeah.
than an agency that has like, you know, 200 employees or like Gary V's agency has like 2000 employees. Like I doubt that they're providing as good of a service as you and your partner were back when you just started, but
Yeah.
you know, it can be a good business model if you keep it
Yeah.
solid.
One note and question: is productized services on the list or no?
So I mean that I guess that's kind of an agency.
Yeah. Okay. So kind of riff on that. So I think the agency is a 2. I'm like really obsessed right now with like the idea of a productized service. If that was more of like the way in which people were doing it, I'd potentially argue that that could be like 1.5 or 1 for me. I think my LinkedIn business is a great example of productized service. We have one offer. It's just growth. We don't do content. We don't do anything else. Fulfillment is super dialed in. Every person we hire on the team does the exact same thing. There's not a lot of kind of room for too much thinking and therefore mistakes. It's like you basically operate X, Y, and Z way. It's one pricing. Like I'm obsessed with this model now because of the recurring revenue. It's like all the great things from an agency with a lot less headaches. Like with building out an email agency, dude, design is so subjective. There's so many iterations. Every client has feedback on design. Copy, so subjective. Obviously, copy, great, but it's so subjective. There's revisions. And those types of people are really expensive to hire. So I love the idea of a productized service because if you do it the right way, you only have to hire one role. You don't have to hire 5 different types of people to fulfill one email, right? You don't have to have account managers and developers and designers and copywriters and marketers. So I really like productized service, which I think to your point is right. It's an offshoot of an agency. But in my mind, I'm classifying it almost as like a hybrid of a SaaS slash agency because it kind of pulls from them and the recurring aspect of the revenue. And it's a little bit more dialed in fulfillment.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I mean, dude, your specific productized service is sick, but
Yeah.
I mean, all right, let's keep it moving. Okay, so we have 4 and 2, right?
Yes, I
That's
think
what you,
so.
okay. Now for this one, I have like brand ecom. So this is different from drop shipping, but this is like the brands that you kind of work with, where it's
Yeah.
like it's not a beginner business model really, but it's like you invest a lot of money into this thing that has a brand, like
Yeah.
you have fulfillment in the US. Where would you rank that?
I think for me, this fits perfectly in the middle between drop shipping and an agency at 3. I think it's better to do than drop shipping because I think there's longevity there if you do it the right way. I think you could have more of a chance of selling, but I also think it's really hard. It's a lot harder, in my opinion, than an agency because you have to be good at so many things. You have to be good at product. You have to be good at design. You have to be good at, you know, back end kind of logistics and ops. You have to be good at hiring. You have to be good at marketing. You have to be good at you know, inventory management. Like there's like a million things you have to be good at to be a strong e-commerce brand. So for me, it's a little bit kind of overwhelming. Where I kind of like the drop shipping thing slightly more on one part, although I don't like it for other things. So I'd say for me, it's in the middle. I don't really know that right now is like the easiest or best time to start an e-commerce brand. I think it's definitely challenging, but I think there's more upsides to it than drop shipping. So I'm more bullish on that. But yeah, it's hard. I feel like the brands that got started a couple years ago, at least, or more, are the ones that kind of have a little bit more stability. Obviously, we have people starting brands today that are doing well, but it's a whole different playing field today than I'm used to.
Yeah. Dude, I'm just gonna say now, you got a tough decision between 1 and 5.
Okay, damn. All right.
I'm just gonna let you because you can't change your answers.
Yeah.
I know exactly what I would rank these, which is why I'm not saying anything.
Okay.
But your last two, it's gonna be tough.
Okay.
I might even give them to you at the same time. But anyway, okay. So I used to not be a big fan of like ecom brands at all because I didn't really know anyone who was like actually successful with it. And also I didn't really like the culture, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, dude, I spent a decent amount of time on D2C Twitter, and like all the people that are like in the world, like really, really big agency owners and really, really big brand owners and like the marketers that work there and stuff like that. I'm just like, I don't like any of you guys. Like they're just not my kind of people, you know what I mean? Just not very like they don't look like they have any fun ever. Um and so like I've always kind of been opposed to it, but recently I've been hanging around people that are it's the newer cohort that's kind of coming up now and they're figuring it out. Dude, you know Rob, right? Rob,
I know.
Genius
I know.
CEO.
I've talked about. Is it seem like it's more kind of Amazon based versus like they're building kind of their own D2C Shopify sites? Is it more e-com focused on Amazon, or how
Well,
do you view it?
yeah. Well, they are Amazon.
Okay.
They don't even have like a storefront. Like
Wow.
they're only Amazon. But this the strategy. Okay, so they have some strategies that like are wicked, like little growth hacks for Amazon
Okay.
that like you can't use anywhere else. But I know that if they had the same sort of brand, on Shopify, they'd probably be crushing just as much, right? And they're
Interesting.
using TikTok Shop as well. But it's like they got a cool brand, they got a cool personal brand kind of heading it up. Like Rob is pretty cool, Jimmy's pretty cool. You know what I mean? Like the content around it is really good. Like it's really hypey. I think if you're an ecom brand with really good content and like some cool people like front running it,
Yeah.
then like you guys can crush because like yeah, Top Shelf is doing pretty well.
That's sick. And Bo, it's interesting you
But
mentioned the money. Like I know a couple e-com brands, like founders, and I'm friendly with, and like I'd say like maybe only like 1 to 3 of the guys I know, and I know them fairly well, are actually making like good real money themselves. Right. I know a lot of brands that are doing 7, 8, 9 figures, and the founders I think are doing okay. I think their money comes is when they ever exit, if that happens, right? But like in terms of actually running a business, like and paying themselves annually, I only know like a couple people that are making serious money. Most everyone else I feel like is doing decent to average. So it's an interesting one as you mentioned the money piece. Like I know more guys, at least outwardly, selling courses and running agencies and things like that seem to be making money short term. I don't think they have as much longevity in terms of selling like a course business in the future. So I think their payday is today. But I'm kind of in the mindset right now with like the way the world is and everything we've seen. Like you have to optimize, I think, for short term to mid term cash. I used to try to play like the mid to long term game. I think the agency very much is that. But a lot of my attention, my focus lately is on businesses that make money today. Like I'm over making money in 3, 5, 7, 10 years on a potential sale. I want money in my pocket today because that pays the bills. That allows me to live. That allows me to have fun. So
Yeah.
I think that at the 3 slot actually makes a lot of sense.
Okay, solid. And dude, what's cool is you have both, right? Like you have money where you can afford your pickleball membership, and you have money that can buy you a nice crib in probably 5 to 8
Yeah.
years. Really nice crib. So I don't know. And now me, I'm just trying to figure out how to fund my Coinbase account so I can be just like you, Chase.
Love it.
Um, okay. So for these last two, should I give them to you at the same time?
Yeah, it might be helpful.
Okay. So the last two were info, like coaching, and newsletter.
Ooh. Oh man.
And I know what you would have done differently now. Like I know you and I would probably rank these the same now.
Yeah, I probably would have
But
put
those are the last
I
two.
probably would have put drop shipping at the end, and I would have
At
moved
five.
these up. Yeah, so yeah, I'm not going to change it, but I would have moved these. I think towards the top half. Now I'm kind of stuck with like last place versus first place. Um, I'd say for most people, um, newsletter business probably is one. I feel like, in my opinion, it's probably easier to run than a course. In certain aspects, I think the newsletter is probably an easier thing for people to fulfill. I think for someone to do a course and do it really well in the right way with dozens and dozens of video modules and building it out and having the focus and having the attention to detail and really adding a lot of value and then carving out the time to do coaching, all that, I think that's really challenging for a lot of people. I don't think a lot of people have the vision, the patience, the ability to carve out that time, etc. So I'm going to put the info product business, as much as it pains me to do, at 5, just because I think the newsletter is easier to start and fulfill, for most people, right? I'm answering in the mindset of like for most people. If it was specifically what I would do given kind of my resources and audience, it'd probably be slightly different. But the arrangement I'm doing, at least I understood, was kind of for most people listening or watching this. So I put newsletter at 1, very low barrier to entry, and I think that's a common one, right? Like a lot of these have. You didn't say SaaS company, right? That obviously has a high barrier to entry. So a lot of these businesses you're talking about, drop shipping, agency, courses, newsletters, they have a low barrier to entry. So I think for all of those, that's a shared one. I think the e-commerce brand has the highest barrier to entry in terms of cash.
Mhm.
So I think a newsletter business is one. Although the fundamentals, I think, of growing a newsletter business and growing a course, there's a lot of overlap, right? You have to get really good at paid acquisition. You have to get good at trying to figure out how to nail organic social. Like for you, TikTok was a platform that you dominated, right? And it really scaled both, I guess, your coaching business slash course, and also kind of second-handedly your newsletter, right? Like you don't really run a newsletter like a traditional media company, but you very much do have a newsletter that you do send that does fuel the other. So for those reasons, my hands are kind of forced. I'd say newsletter 1, and then the coaching info thing at number 5.
Damn. Yeah, that was a tough one. So I would have gone
Yeah, that's tough.
dropshipping 5,
Yep.
agency 4, newsletter 3, brand ecom 2,
Info number
info
1.
1.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, just
Interesting.
because like info for I don't know a single info seller who is like the least bit competent that is making less than 1 million a year,
Yeah,
like profit.
yeah, yeah. It's interesting.
And I also know a lot of people that are like that same level of competence that just happen. I don't know how they do it, but they make way more, like 10 million a year profit in like weird niches that you and I don't even like stay at home mom type businesses where it's like, damn, like you make that much, like it's like crazy what some of these people are pulling with a good audience and a decent offer.
Yeah, dude, this was interesting. Yeah, and I feel good about how I answered in the moment. Obviously, not having all the answers, I would have changed it slightly. And I'd say
Yeah,
my list is probably fairly close to the list that you just gave in terms of the revised order. Maybe 1 or 2 would change, but pretty close.
we all agree that dropshipping is number 5.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Dropshipping would be definitely number 5.
Yeah. Okay. Solid, man. Good. I like that segment. That was fun.
That was fun. That was cool. That was different.
Yeah. Okay. Next topic is the best course that you've ever taken. And this doesn't necessarily have to be like a plug or anything like that. It doesn't have to be anything that you've like made a bunch of money with. It could just be a course that you've taken that like you remember and it helped you in some way.
Yeah, I mean, I think starting out, I don't think the course is around. I don't know if it's been updated. I don't know anything about it, but I took an email course from Ezra when I like started out in 2016, 2017. That was really helpful. I went from knowing nothing to knowing something. And then I basically built my email course as like the things that I wish I learned in that course, kind of comparing it with other things that, were kind of things I learned later. So I'd say like the genesis of my course was kind of taking things from that course that were missing, that I didn't think did well there, and kind of building out a beginner to intermediate. So I feel like that kind of helped with kind of getting some experience and reps, and also set the foundation of my future course. So Ezra's course was great. I couldn't afford it back then, so Nick actually ripped it on the black market for me somehow. I don't know how. I think he's told Ezra that one day. So I think he told him that probably a year or two ago, which was kind of funny.
That is funny. Um, how much was the course? Do you remember?
I probably want to say it was like a grand or two. I was like fresh, into this world of marketing, and I was like, fuck, I don't want to spend like a grand or two. I probably could have afforded it. I just didn't want to spend a grand or two when I was like in my early to mid 20s, not knowing anything about this world.
Yeah, that makes sense. That was expensive for a course back then. Like now you see a lot of courses being slung at a grand or like a 997.
And you don't think
But
twice
like, dude,
about
I
it.
remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, right. But all the courses back then, and I remember this. I came up obviously after you, but even in 2020, like stuff for like 27 bucks, it would change your life. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's crazy. And this was like 8 years ago. So it was a long time. It's very different now. Like I priced my course at 750, a few years ago, which felt more like with the times. And now it feels like, dude, there's programs that are 1,000, 3,000, 5,000, 10,000, and people are not even batting an eye, hopping in left and right.
Yeah, they're buying it with no sales call.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like Alan Sultanic's thing is 20K.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah, and I know somebody who's in that. Apparently, it's worth it.
Crazy.
So, um, dude, you know what's funny? I was actually going to answer this. Your and not to be a you know, but your email course back in 2020. So you dropped that what September October
Yeah,
2020.
exactly. Yeah.
Okay, I remember when that came out because I think I helped you promote it. Like that was back in the early days of our like working relationship.
Yeah.
And I remember,
2020.
I think I might have written a sales email for you or like a Twitter thread or something to help you kind of launch it, like just more assets that you were just going to push out. And oh, and a blog article, like a press release or something like that type of thing. And I remember you gave it to me for free, and I was the only person on the structure team at the time that had it.
Oh my god, yeah, I forgot
Um,
about that. That created some drama, I remember.
did it?
Yeah, like I think like David and Amelia and some of those people were like, I don't know if they found that you had it, but they wanted for like the whole team. They wanted the whole team to get it for free, and then it became like the internal
Oh,
training thing, and it became like this like thing. I think a lot of people on the team were jealous because like I think I only talked to you.
yeah. No, that's what it was. It wasn't about the course. It was the fact that you and I were working together.
Got it. So maybe course
Um,
aside, they were like jealous that like we were doing stuff on the side, which is very strange.
yeah, dude. It was like this forbidden romance, like Romeo and Juliet type shit. Like, it was so strange. I remember, yeah, a lot of people didn't like that, but I mean, like you, and then you told me because I felt really bad. I was like, because I was brand new. I was like, fuck, am I gonna get fired? And you were like, nah, dude, like everyone else is just lazy. Like you're the only person who ever like reached out to me. So like
Yeah,
whatever.
you're
Anyway,
you're hustling.
anyway, I remember you sent me that course and like, dude, like this is when like I was trying really hard to like get out, like take more freelance work on because I just wanted to make money, bro.
Yep.
And like structure was always priority, but I just wanted to like have as many clients as as I could handle. And so I wanted to like learn ecom email so I could start doing that. And I remember like even to this day, everything I know now is pretty much because of like working alongside you and the team and also that course. So I
Sick.
remember that was a banger course that I referenced probably dozens of times. I've logged in so many times to like see how to set something up. And the other email marketer that I was working with was also he bought that shit. He paid money for it.
Sick.
Remember Denard?
Yeah.
Yeah. So him and I were like going through. It felt like a college study hall. Like him and I were like on Zoom together, like going through your course, trying to find the answer to some question to like set something up for a client that we were working on together.
That's sick.
Um, and then there was a bunch of early courses that I bought back in the day. Like there was this one from Aaron GRT, who I don't even know if you know who that is on Twitter. Like,
It sounds familiar. I don't know if I've met him, but it sounds very familiar.
yeah, he's been on for a minute. Like he was, a long time ago, started tweeting, and he had like this cold email course that was like I think it was $80, So
Wow.
I ponied up and I bought that. And that was right before I made any money freelancing. And so he had like cold email scripts that I was kind of using. He gave us like subject lines and stuff. And then he also gave us like a lead. Like he said, he told us where to find leads. And the
Wow.
only leads on there was like this link to like a list of like 100 supplement companies. And I remember I reached out to every single supplement company on that list and I followed up numerous times and I only got one response. Most of them were like out of business. Like most of them didn't exist anymore. So it was like total waste.
Wow.
But yeah, no, I remember that one. And other than that, man, like obviously like brain dead simple copy, the copywriting course I took, like it was pretty good. It got me to like where I guess needed to be.
Yeah.
Um
Did you ever do
yeah,
any
dude, I
Black Hat
bought so many
Wizards?
courses back in the day. Yeah, I bought his thing early. Like it's like 9.97 now. I bought it at $85.
Oh, dude, I remember the days where it was like 50 to $100. It's $1,000 now for the same thing, or he's added to it probably.
Yeah. And actually, you know what's hilarious, bro? He wanted me to do a testimonial for him. And I didn't want to do it because I thought that you were gonna see it and know that I was like trying to get clients outside. I
Oh my god. Not that I would have ever
yeah.
cared, but that's so funny.
No, I know, but I didn't understand yet that like you were like pro hustler because like I
Yeah.
thought you were like because the rest of the team didn't like that, and
No,
so
no,
like I
no.
didn't want to be like publicly out there saying like, hey, I got this course and now I sign clients. Like I didn't want to do that.
Oh, dude, you should hit him up now. You
So
should hit him up now 4 years later saying, I'll get you with that testimonial. I got you.
yeah, I'll hook him up. Yeah, yeah. Anyway, I
That's
mean, anything
sick.
else to add there? Like
No, that's sick.
I I will say though, like I love the fact that um like now you and I both have courses where like people are gonna talk, in 5 years, be like, yo, remember Copy MBA? And
So
people would be like,
sick.
oh yeah, what? Yeah, I remember buying that on a webinar. Like I think that's so sick because like
So cool.
we've had 4,000 people, 5,000 people buy Copy MBA.
Just directly through
And
you. There's probably 4 or 5,000 more that ripped it on the black web like Nick did for me with Ezra's course, right? Maybe even more.
yeah,
Maybe even more. Like,
that's why we hire Ayub. I still have Ayub on retainer.
it's crazy. Dude,
Yeah, for anybody who doesn't know, I pay this kid from India like $1,000 a month to basically ensure that there's no possible way to download Copy MBA. There's still some ways you can get it, which like whatever. If they're trying that hard to get it for free and they find a link and they get it, like fine, take it, whatever. Um, but yeah,
dude, I
so
specifically made a free version of my course. Like I did like a major reduced version of like I think that my main course is like 6 or 8 hours plus I don't know a dozen plus hours of like bonus videos. I made like a free 20-minute course. That's like the 101 to the actual course, and I just put it out there. That way, like people would stop ripping me off on the paid course and just go do the free one, and I'd at least get their emails. And I've had like almost 10,000 people give me their email on that one. So it was like it almost was just like a lead magnet. It's like I'm gonna get ripped off whether which way. I might as well get people's email addresses for it. So I put that out there, and that helps.
that's dope. I love that. Okay, man. Last one is software that sucks that someone should rebuild. And so um
Hmm.
there's a couple things that we use that like either I just suck at using or I don't understand it. But like, is there anything that you use on a day-to-day basis that like it's just got bugs and you're just like, I wish someone would just build a better version of this?
Um, Nothing really comes to mind. Although I feel like every software in the world that's gotten big is like just so damn expensive and the price is just so inflated. Where like I feel like there's like this interesting opportunity to just go build brands doing 8 figures of ARR and go build the same thing and just offer it for a little bit cheaper. Try to build it for cheaper and just go offer it. Because some of these tools are just so expensive for like things that aren't that great, in my opinion. Where it's like, you know, certain prices just get jacked up every year because that's the tax of having VCs type of a thing. I can't think of one in
Mhm.
particular, but I just see a bunch of these that like I see people's bills. People tell me what they're paying. They're paying a grand here, 3 grand there, 5 grand there, 10 grand here, and I'm like, damn, dude, you should be paying a quarter of that maybe. Like I don't think the
Yeah.
value is there for that specific tool to be paying X amount of dollars. What comes to
Yeah.
mind for you?
Yeah. So one of those where it's crazy expensive is Webinar Jam. And that's what I was gonna like, dude. Webinar Jam. I don't know exactly what it costs. I can't remember if it's like 5,000 a quarter or like I don't know. I just see random charge. I don't even use it anymore, but I
Damn.
just see random charges coming through all the time, and I'm just like, damn, bro. And I would pay that. And I'd be happy to pay it if it was better quality. Like
Yeah,
it's just
yeah,
not very good. Really hard to like build out like a webinar funnel. Like Ben used to handle that.
yeah.
But like there's no data as to like what happens to any people who are in there. Like I wish it would tell us like I wish we could connect it to like a tracking tool like Hyros where it's like we know like if there was like something I said that made people drop off, or like what's the show rate of each channel, and
Interesting.
like what's the conversion rate of each channel, like how we know like what made them get, you know what I mean? Like there's all these different
Dude,
things that like I wish.
that'd be so valuable and so sick. Then it would justify the cost. And kind of piggybacking on that, there's actually a lot of tools I was trying to do like virtual events. So less of a webinar, but more of like hosting a virtual event with 10 or 12 or 20 speakers over a couple of days. And bro, things were so expensive. Like there was a couple, I can't remember the names of them because it's been a bit. But bro, they were so expensive where like I would end up just hacking it together using Zoom or something, which even that got expensive. To have like 500 or 1,000 people in a Zoom room or something. Like I remember, I think it was $800 or $1,200 or something a month. So, and I didn't need it, and it wasn't the perfect setup. So a lot of these tools that do, I guess, webinars, and also I was thinking events after you mentioned that, are just so expensive. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah. No, it is. Like I don't know if it's just like inflation or what's going on, Chase, but yeah, I'm sick of it. I'm sick to my stomach looking at some of these invoices. Like, dude, simple texting too. It's our SMS platform. I mean, I have a lot of credits on there. I probably 90,000, no, 70,000
Wow.
SMSs, a lot. And yeah, I think it's like, dude, I don't even know how they charge. I need to look, but like 5 grand. I just see random charges like 5 grand, 3 grand,
Damn.
$500 a year, 800, like just random. I don't know how they're charging. I think they charge on credits.
Yeah, it's probably
Like
like a
if you get,
platform fee plus like a credit fee. So you probably just rack up a huge bill, especially when you do webinars, right? Because you're sending 3, 5 texts sometimes to a person. You're probably spending a lot of money around webinar season.
oh yeah, but we're profitable, Chase.
So none of this really matters. We're profitable.
We're profitable on that investment. Oh man. All right, brother. Anything else you want to say?
No, this was a great one.
Yeah, man. I enjoyed this. And I got a new mic.
Heck yeah. Sounded great.
All right, man. Everybody, thanks for tuning in to the Diamond Download. Let us know below what you think of our intro, outro music. We're gonna have it even louder next episode. All right. So talk to you guys soon.
Cheers,
Bye.
brother. Bye.